Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Sweet Tips here. What I have is a few pieces of dental scrap. My jeweler friend had it in his safe. Someone had just donated it to him, and he asked me if I'd be interested in it, and I said sure, give it here. So I bought it off him. I think I paid a couple $100 or something like that for it. But what we're going to try to do today is work with this dental scrap and see if we can recover some of the precious metals from this scrap. Before we get started here, I'm just going to select a random piece, and what we'll do is do a test on this to see if in fact it is precious metals, because not all dental scrap is precious metals. What I'm going to do is just try to file a little bit of this off into a piece of paper. This is our tooth that we selected. We filed off some metal off of here, and I'm going to transfer it now into this little beaker. In our little beaker, just a little bit, just enough to do the test with. Here's our sample of metal down at the bottom of this little beaker here. What we're going to do is add a little bit of hydrochloric acid, just a few drops, a little bit, enough to wet the bottom of the container here. And then now what we'll do, reach in here, get a few drops of nitric acid. Warm Aqua Regia in here, and then we're going to put this, heat it up a little bit in the fume hood, and you'll see that the solution starts to turn color there. Aqua Regia will do that all by itself without any precious metals in it. It'll still turn that color. It's going to add just enough heat to try to get this stuff, those little filings that we put in there, to dissolve. Got it. So we're going to put this down in our fume hood now. Let it cool off for a second. Now what we'll do is get in here, get a little bit of this solution on a piece of strip of filter paper. We'll put some stannous on here and see if we get any kind of result. Oh yeah, look at that bright orange stain. That orange stain means that in that particular tooth, it's platinum. This is the tooth that we just got done testing. So we know that's a platinum group metal, and it is in fact platinum. I'm just going to set it off to the side. Now we're going to grab another one and do the same exact thing. Our little bit of metal. I'm going to put it in another beaker. Not much, but this is enough to do the test with. Try to get it caked up down in the little corner of the beaker down there. See that little bit of metal down there? Those are the filings. Let's go out and give it that same exact test here. You see there's just a little bit of metal down there. So what we're going to do is add a few drops of hydrochloric acid to it. Much. I'm going to pull a little bit of the nitric acid out of this bottle, just a touch, just a few drops. I'm going to add it to our beaker. Now we'll put this over our flame, heat this up a little bit. I'm doing this in a fume hood because this stuff, platinum in solution, very toxic. Bright orange color also. This is the current sample in here. Get a little bit of this on our filter paper. It looks like platinum. Stannous test. See how it turned a different color there? Looks like it might have some platinum in it. But see how it's turning green? That particular tooth is going to be more palladium than platinum. Okay, this is the first tooth that we tested. It's mostly platinum. This is the second one that we tested, and it's mostly palladium. This one here is obviously gold. So I'll add that in with some of my carrot scrap, clean all that dental enamel material off, and add this in with my next batch of carrot scrap and refine it. And then what I'm going to do now is go through the rest of these. Here's our first two tests back here. This is our third one. And what I'm trying to do here is just verify that we have precious metals in these solutions, because sometimes dental scrap is not precious metals, like I'm seeing right here. See how valuable that stannous testing solution is? This was one of the other teeth. I've got a yellow solution down there, but the stannous test on this one is negative. No precious metals. That's a good example. So we're not going to use that tooth in this batch. It might be stainless steel or something else. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not a platinum group metal like we've got back here. Again, that set of teeth had no precious metals in it. That fourth one that I've done now. So this is why it's important to do this type of test, I believe, to determine if you've got precious metals or not, especially when you're working with this dental scrap. You could possibly make a mistake without this particular type of test. Definitely got some metal in it. That's probably going to be palladium, might even be gold. Got some ferrous sulfate. I'm going to add a little bit of this to one of our cavities on our spot plate. Just a few grains of it. Should be enough right there. Okay, this liquid has gold in it. When it hits that ferrous sulfate, you'll see a brown cloud form. Just like that. See how it's turning brown? That means that that particular tooth has probably got some gold in it, as well as some platinum group metals. That was a little bit strong Aqua Regia there. A little bit more ferrous sulfate in here. There's gold in there. See how it turns brown like that? And what's happening is there's a whole bunch of excess nitric in there. So as soon as it turns brown, precipitates out the gold, it's redissolving almost immediately. This is our last one. Add some hydrochloric acid. Add a little squirt of nitric acid. Not much. Like now this one might be gold as well, and why contaminate our platinum group metals with gold? Just throw them in with a separate batch of karat gold. If we turn brown here, that means we got gold in solution. Oh yeah, look at that. So that's gonna, this one's gonna be gold. Based on our tests, these pieces up here are going to be gold. I didn't test that one, but I can see plainly that it is gold. This is going to be platinum group metals, these two pieces right here. So we're going to add them into our beaker. And then these pieces over here were nothing. They look like precious metals, but they are not. And so I'm not even going to work with either of these pieces up here. And this is a piece of platinum group metals I had melted from a previous video. I think it was the anode slimes for the silver cell. We're going to add that in. And then I got a little bitty piece of platinum right here from a previous refining. And we'll add that in. This will be we'll add this to the gold in our stock pot. These two as well. It's gold in there. We don't want that mixed in with our platinum group metals. These two are nothing. Turned out to have no precious metals in them at all. And then these two back here do have some precious metals in them. Before I add any liquid into this, what I'll do is chip off any remaining enamel or junk that's in here just by hitting it with a hammer or twisting it with some pliers or something before we proceed. Adding some hydrochloric acid to this 1 liter beaker. And what I'll do is, here's our pieces of platinum group metals that we're going to be working with in this beaker. I'm going to go ahead and heat these to redness. Now I'll add each piece into our beaker with our acid in it. Our pieces sitting in hydrochloric acid. Now what I'll do is add these test solutions right on in. I mean, they're going to have a little bit of platinum and palladium in them. Got a stir bar. I'm going to put that into the beaker. Now we'll set this up on our stir plate. Add some stirring. do is add some nitric acid. We're going to go with full strength Aqua Regia here. We've got about 150 milliliters of hydrochloric. I'm going to pour in about 50 milliliters of nitric acid now. Cover this up. Add a little bit of heat. We're going to try to dissolve this material as best we can. Got this evaporated down just about to dryness almost. Way down there, so I'm going to pull this down and let it cool off a little bit before we remove all the liquid. I've got some more beakers here that have some mixed PGM powders in them from previous videos, and I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and add these in to our main beaker over here. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and add some hydrochloric acid to this to rehydrate it and cool it down a little bit. I meant to show you before I put that acid in there that the pieces are not completely dissolved yet. There's still some solid chunks of metal left in there, and so we're going to have to continue to hit this with some Aqua Regia. Let's go ahead and just put our this is about 3 grams of platinum group metals from a previous refining. I think it may have been it could have either been the stock pot or the anode filters. I'm just going to add this right on in. I've got some more mixed black PGM powders in this beaker. And so what I'm going to do is, this is just some water on top of it. I'm going to pour this water off. And now we'll add this to our beaker over here. Now we've got all of the platinum group metals that I had available to me consolidated into a single reaction beaker. Let's go ahead and rinse this down with some hydrochloric acid. Put this back up on the heat now and turn the stir bar back on and get this thing reacting. I'm going to add some nitric acid into this beaker. Let's see, let's go with about got 200 in there, so let's go with about maybe maybe 75 milliliters of nitric acid. Okay, here goes nothing. I'm going to add a little bit of the nitric in here and continue to try to dissolve this material. I've got all the nitric driven out of this solution now. So what we're going to do, pull it down and let it cool off. I'm measuring out about 250 milliliters of hydrochloric acid. Now what we'll do is we'll add this to our platinum group metals in this beaker and rehydrate this solution. Here we go. I've got as much of that material dissolved as I can. I added the mixed black PGM powders. Should have that dissolved and in solution. So we'll let this cool down, and I think I'm going to call it right here for a part 1 of the dental scrap recovery and refining series of videos. We'll pick right up in the morning with part 2. I'd like to thank everybody for watching.